I've been lucky enough last week to go out and about a little bit, doing a bit of shopping and picking up some prescriptions and things. And it's interesting, I've noticed there are two main different ways that people are interacting or not interacting with each other. So standing in a queue, waiting to go into Sainsbury's, you have those people who are looking about them, wanting to engage with you, wanting to have that eye contact and say good morning, which is lovely. And then you have some other people who I've tried to look at and smile at and engage just with a good morning. And they're looking at the floor and they don't want to interact with you. And if they do look up and accidentally catch your eye, they mumble something. And it's just struck me that it's really interesting how we're all reacting so very differently in some ways to this fear and this anxiety that's around. Some of us are craving interaction and wanting to speak to people, and some of us are actually too fearful to do that, and actually almost having the eye contact or speaking to somebody in some ways feels really threatening and really unnerving. So in many ways we're much more connected than we've ever been through things like this and phoning people. And in many other ways, we couldn't be further apart. You know, the number of times that I've wanted to run up to people or when I've seen them, when I've handed over shopping, just to give them a great big hug. But we can't do that. And fear can be so crippling, can't it? I think maybe that's why Jesus so often in the Bible, one of the most common things he says is, do not be afraid. He's always telling us, do not be afraid. And he's wanting us to experience that peace that passes all understanding. And I don't know about you, but I could do with some of that right now. Day to day is interesting. I feel like I'm on a bit of a roller coaster, if I'm honest, most days. I can start off quite positive. Lunchtime happens, and sometimes in the afternoon I just nosedive, and I feel quite despairing at times. The isolation creeps in, and it becomes very, very real. But this is our reality for the moment. And for the next at least 3 weeks, we're in lockdown, and I think we can be forgiven for feeling helpless, frustrated, and even angry. In fact, I've lost track of which day it is at some point. I was speaking to a friend the other day, and she was saying the same thing, and she's calling every day now Blur's Day because she can't remember what day it is. But when I'm feeling those feelings of despair and when isolation's really setting in, I'm finding it really helpful to go back to the Psalms. I think mainly because most of the Psalms were written in a state of lament. Excuse me. They are really honest, they are really real, and it's a bunch of people writing down how they are really honestly feeling and telling God all about it. And that really helps me because I need to do that. I need to be really honest with myself. I need to be kind to myself. I need to let myself experience these feelings, and that's okay, and not to push them aside and go, no, well, I'm a Christian, so I can't feel hopeless and despairing. Yes, we can. It's okay to feel like that. God knows that we feel like that, and he wants us to go through those feelings, because it's only by going through these things that we can come out the other side. So I found it really helpful to go back to the Psalms, to read them and to really connect with them in a deeper way than perhaps I ever have before. And it's through those feelings and through talking them out and laying them before God and having a bit of a rant and having a bit of a cry that I feel better. I go, no, it is okay. And I remember who God is. I remember who I am. And I've been drawn to one psalm in particular the last few days that I thought I'd share with you. Psalm 46, and it's got a really famous verse in that I'm sure you'll all know. Be still and know that I am God. So I thought we might listen to that now.
God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge.
Reading this psalm in its entirety has really helped me to understand a bit more about where this verse comes from. I've very much taken it out of context in the past and just sort of hung my hat on that one verse, but it's really helpful, I think, to look at it in the context and when it was written. It was written amidst a battle, a war. It was written as a song, and it was given to the best singers of that time to sing. So they wanted it to be a real message, a really powerful, beautiful, rejoicing as well as reality and being cross with God. I think it speaks really powerfully into our situation. Although that was a physical battle, and it was war, and it was physical in that sense, we are still going through our own wars and our own battles with an invisible enemy. They were scared and they were struggling to see where God was amidst all their suffering. And that speaks to us too. And it talks about God's characteristics and his attributes in this psalm. It reminds us that he is our refuge, that he is strong, that he is present, and that he's a great help to those who are feeling weak. For me, it speaks powerfully as well that it reminds me that I'm not in control and that he is. And I sense a very strong thing here with control. We are so used to being in control of our lives, of where we go, what we do, who we see, when we do it. And that's been taken away from us. And I think there are a lot of us who are struggling with that lack of control. And this psalm helps me to remember that maybe I was in a bit of an illusion, that maybe I always thought I was more in control than I am. And this is a bit of a stark reminder that actually I'm not in control and I never was, and that God is in control. God has this. And it's a call for me to trust deeper and to have more faith and more trust in that, in what I profess to believe, that I'm not in control. That verse, that very famous verse, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. I am not God. He is God. And I need to let him be God. I need to hand back that control to him. Amongst the daily strivings and the trying to rationalise it and make sense of what we're going through in our situation. Amidst all the worrying and despair, I need to let go and let God be God. I need to remember that He is bigger than I can possibly imagine. And I need to try on a daily basis to surrender my striving and my control over to Him. One thing which I was doing, which has helped me, that I thought I'd share with you, is that I'm taking that verse, be still and know that I am God, and repeating it again and again until I get just to the last word, be. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. And just repeating that slowly really helps me just to slow down, to focus on my place and His place. This is a beautiful psalm, and I've really lent into it over recent days. And I'd like to close with a song that I found that is based on this verse. God bless you.
Oh, come behold the works of God, the nations at His feet. He breaks the bow and bends the spear and tells the wars to cease. Almighty One of Israel, you are on our side. We walk by faith in God who burns the chariots with fire. Lord of hosts, you lead us in the fire, with us as a shelter, with us in the storm. You will lead us through the fiercest battle. Oh, where else would we go but with the Lord of fierce and great, you lift your voice to speak. The earth it bows and all the mountains move into the sea. Oh Lord, you know the hearts of men, and still you let them live. Oh God, who makes the mountains melt, come wrestle us and win. Oh God, the oceans roar, you are the Lord of all, the one who calms the wind and waves and makes my heart be still. Though the earth gives way, the mountains move into the sea, the nations rage, I know my God is in control. The oceans roar, you are